Hi, and welcome to Female Entrepreneurs Magazine, your go to platform for ambitious women who are ready to take the business world by storm. I'm your host, Angel France, and each week we'll dive into the latest strategies, stories, and success secrets from the most inspiring female entrepreneurs around the world. Today on The Real Female Entrepreneurs, we're welcoming a visionary coach and peace stirring powerhouse who's helping high achievers ditch that burnout and build success with sanity. I'm like, I keep going, "Ah." When you talk to her, she's so peaceful. As founder of the Backyard Peace Project, she's leading a global ripple effect, one mindset shift, one radical truth bomb, and one peaceful breakthrough at a time. With 20 plus years of impact, five neurodiverse kiddos, and a Woman Changing the World Award finalist, she's showing us that balance isn't a myth, it's a movement. Get ready to breathe, believe, and be transformed. Please help me welcome the brilliant and bold Cathy Domoney. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. It's so great to be here, and I can't wait to dive into this juicy conversation.
It's going to be fun. Listen to her voice, how peaceful. You guys are just going to be like in serenity the whole time with her. And then I'll just pump it up, you know. All right. So, what inspired you to actually go into the industry that you're in right now? And because something had to happen.
Yeah. And look, it's a typical story, really, that I wanted to understand myself better. I came from complex background. When I was the youngest by 10 years, it was quite a narcissistic environment. And when you're little, you think there's something going on here that I actually not sure what it is, but I'm not sure that this is how we're supposed to be in the world. So I had this awareness from quite a young age. And so I went on a journey of self exploration from quite a young age, reading philosophy, seeking out counselors as a sort of tween and teen, thinking I need some more answers here. I don't feel like I'm getting them in my environment. And so it's always been like this journey, this long journey of self exploration and trying to find answers that I felt aligned with. And then the next level came when I started having children. And when each child was diagnosed, I thought, I'm not the mother that they need. I'm not the mother that they deserve. I've still got stuff from my past that I haven't dissolved yet. I know it's there. I've been half looking at it, thinking, one day I'll do it, one day I'll do it. And I thought, well, I can't be parenting through this lens when my children already have that extra layer of complexity to navigate through the world. And so that's when I started getting trained in trauma, but it was really to understand myself and dissolve my trauma because I didn't want it filtering down through my parenting. And I'm lucky to be married to an amazing guy. We're best friends. We're very opposite. Like my kids say, how did you two get together? I'm like, I don't know. It just works. But he was also courageous enough to go and get his trauma work done because we really wanted to hold a space that was as safe and as pure and as clean as we could possibly hold for our kids. So it's a real personal story that ended up threading very powerfully through my professional life.
So, let's take what you do and explain directly, if you don't mind, what you do. I know you work with high achievers. You're a fabulous coach. Tell us what you do.
Well, I generally work with people in powers of position of powers. And so what I wanted to do was impact leaders because then filtering down through their leadership, they're uplifting their teams and the ripple effect from the teams to their families. So I wanted to have as much impact as possible. And so generally speaking, I mean, I've worked with self-made people, multimillionaires, CEOs, very, very successful, very smart, very strong, very determined. And yet everybody has something that they need to work through. Everybody has some piece of themselves that they need to evolve. And what I found with really, really high achievers is they have achieved this extraordinary amount of success in their professional life because what they've managed to do is take any points of pain and channel them into progress and success. But then they reach the pinnacle of success and they go, oh, it's still there lurking in the background. It hasn't dissolved what I was hoping it would dissolve, and I can't outrun it. And so that's when they seek someone like me out. And I've always worked through referrals in my private practice. And they come and we just go through working with the conscious mind, the unconscious mind, the superconscious mind, and really getting everything in alignment and just lovingly leaning in with curiosity at what needs attention and love and nurturing. But for me, that wasn't enough impact, and which is why I was working pro bono with some survivors of domestic violence, and seeing all of these people out there that desperately needed support but didn't have the financial means to access it, or didn't know where to start, because when we're in overwhelm, we often don't think clearly and we haven't got the energy or the focus to be able to find the kind of support that we need, which is why I started the Backyard Peace Project, because I wanted to make high quality help available, accessible, and affordable.
Oh, wow. So that goes out to the community or the backyard piece. So where exactly is that at in what area that you work in?
So what I've done is I've brought together a team. At the moment, we're just over 60 experts. So lots of different people who are specializing in different areas. So we've got some like money mindset coaches, we've got breathwork experts, we've got tapping experts, we've got all sorts of different experts in the one community. And they've provided masterclasses, sessions, courses. So people come in and do this beautiful self-exploration and start understanding themselves a little bit better, and all for a very low monthly subscription. So it's a subscription per family, not per person. And it's a cancel anytime, so people can jump in and out. So for me, if a member of my community can only afford 2 months of the year, so they decide, right, I'm going to do 1 month in March and 1 month in October. And they come in and they experience all of this support and this knowledge and this guidance and have these shifts, then I've done my job. Because if they can experience this beautiful, unique shift within themselves, that will ripple out to their families, their communities, and the world. So everybody that's in the community are very high integrity, very highly skilled, and they believe in the vision of world peace, but very much believing that that starts with inner peace. And that's what we're trying to help our community cultivate.
So in the backyard peace project is virtually online as well, correct?
Oh, it's virtual community, absolutely. So we're international, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware that it was international. And you know what? I love the fact that you're doing it for a family as a whole.
Yeah, totally. We've got so many amazing projects in the work. So a youth chapter, a Good Men Rising chapter. We've got so many amazing things going on inside the community, because we need belonging, we need connection, proper connection, and we need the space where we can have permission not to pretend. We can come in and be vulnerable. And part of it, we have a weekly coaching session, for a group coaching that anyone can join, and we discuss topics and we answer questions and we help and support the community. And we had one this week. And one of the things I said in my leadership role is that something happened to me last week, and I responded beautifully on the outside, but I felt an amount of rage on the inside. And I said, I was really uncomfortable with that, because I genuinely believe in love is the answer. We should be peaceful. And so the fact that I had this massive reaction, because it was involving one of my children and I felt protective over my child, but I didn't feel good about that, because it didn't feel like it was integrity to me. And so we discussed it in the coaching session. And I said, I did not feel in alignment. But we need to be able to say, I am fairly evolved, and yet I'm still a work in progress. Because I feel like there's so much pressure on us to be perfect and to show the world our perfect side, that we hide the pieces of ourselves that need nurturing and support, which just exacerbates the situation and ends up in self-harm, mental health issues, fractions within relationships, fractions within family. But if we could only just come together and feel safe to share the pieces of ourselves that we're hiding, that's where the power is.
That is. It is where the power is. It's just, yeah, because all of us have some area that we're still working on 100%. And if somebody doesn't want to admit that, oh, well, I mean, sorry, go look in the mirror again because there's
Yeah.
something. Mhm.
Yeah. But
And
a
it
lot
does,
of it's fear. You don't want to say, because how am I going to be judged?
right. That's it.
I don't want to be judged. I want to do a good job. My intention is to do a good job. My intention is to be the best possible person I can be. Therefore, I have to hide the pieces of me that we label as mistakes. But what if we just labeled it all as experience?
Mm.
Then we'd be more likely to lean in. We'd be more likely to share, and sharing gives other people permission to be vulnerable and share as well. And we can understand that we're all trying our best, whatever that looks like.
So let's talk about trying our best with balancing, because we know that is really something that everyone struggles with. We get to a point where we go, oh, it's an ebb and flow, or you have it down pat. So give me your thoughts on balancing of female entrepreneurs, business, and family life or personal life.
I do feel there's no one model that fits everybody. And for me, the word balance sort of implies that we need to quantify the pieces of our lives. And I prefer the word dance.
Me
So
too. Oh my
I
God, that's like my word I say on it's a dance. It's
it's a
all a
dance.
dance. It
It's
really is.
totally, because sometimes, like, it's like within a marriage, it's never 50-50, right? Sometimes you take the lead because your partner's vulnerable, sometimes they take the lead because you're vulnerable. It's a constant dance, and it's fluid, and you have to be able to be open and ready to change and evolve and grow together. And for me, I prioritize being a mum because I'm never going to get that time back again. So, for example, I'd set up a meeting with some powerhouse people all over the world, and I set the meeting. And they all said yes. I was like, this is amazing. This is magical. I'm going to get airtime with these fantastic people. This is so great. And then my son brought me this handwritten note of inviting me to his boxcar building activity. And so I
Awesome.
was like looking at this note, and it was like the exact time that I booked with all these powerhouse people. And so I emailed all of them and said, hey, so thrilled that you want to have this discussion with me. Super honored. Thank you so much for giving me that time. I know your life is full. However, since doing this meeting, I have realized that I have been invited by my son, who was 7 at the time, to his boxcar building extravaganza, and then they're going to have a race in the outdoors all through the wilderness, and I have to attend that. So I'm happy for you to go ahead and have the discussion without me and record it and send me the recording, or I'm happy to rearrange, whatever suits you. And they all replied and said, we're happy to rearrange, go to the boxcar thing, and we need photographs. And I did. And I look at that photograph. I mean, he's 11 now, but I look at that photograph and I'm so glad I went, because his little face is so shiny that I was there to help him build this boxcar. And those are the moments I can't get back. So as passionate as I am about my mission, and I am passionate, like I'll work 16 hours a day and love every single second of it. Have to put alarms on to remind myself to eat and feed the children. It's like kind of part of the deal. But as much as I'm passionate about my mission, I know that I will not get those moments back with my kids. And so for me, being a parent has taken priority. And I've built my business around being a present parent. And I've had the privilege of being able to do that.
I really feel it's all a dance, and I love the fact that you have priorities, and that also comes with boundaries as well, correct?
Yeah,
So,
totally. And boundaries with my kids.
yeah.
And this is the thing is, it's like I know there's gentle parenting, and there's a miscommunication where there's indulgent parenting.
Mm.
And when you're saying yes to your kid all the time and not giving them boundaries, it's not setting them up for success. And so I have boundaries with my kids as well. And that by me asserting those boundaries of self-care and saying, okay, because my husband's away 3 out of 4 weeks. So I'm running the show 3 out of 4 weeks on my own. He's only home 12 weeks a year. And so I run everything. And there are times where I'm like, okay, mummy's going into deep rest now. I've got an Incredible Hulk mask. So if I'm doing a meditation with my Incredible Hulk mask, they know unless something's burning down or there's some terrible tragedy, do not disturb mum. She's got her Incredible Hulk mask on, and I'm doing a meditation, and I can just pass out for 20 minutes and then come back. And like the other day, I've had a very full few weeks, as you know. And on Saturday afternoon, I thought, gosh, I'm actually exhausted. Like, I feel like if I don't proactively look after myself here, I feel like I could be ill. I feel like I'm going to catch something. And so I put a movie on for the kids, and I just said, hey, guys, you watch this movie. I'm going to go and lie down for the whole movie, which is 90 minutes. I'm going to set an alarm. And what was beautiful is I got up from my nap, and my 11-year-old had made a sign for my door that said, leave me be, which is a very English phrase, leave me be. And underneath in brackets, I'm having a nap. And so what was beautiful about that is they understand that I have boundaries with them. Even though I love them, I would kill for them, I would die for them, right?
Right.
However, by me asserting my personal boundaries of self-care, they learn to do the same. They
Mhm.
learn by what we show them, not by what we tell them. So it's
Mhm.
super important to hold ourselves to those standards first before we expect our kids to.
Show, don't tell.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. All right. I love that. Earlier you told me something because I told you I'm a little hyper and I'm like, "Oh my God, you're so calm. I love it. Only wish it." That you said you had an analogy about the kite. Can you explain the
Yeah,
kite analogy to me? Because it was so great.
sure. Well, my children are all neurodiverse. And so they're very high functioning, which is amazing, but they do have another level of complexity of anxiety and social anxiety and all those sorts of things. And they have triggers. So they're like, it's sometimes like they're mouse traps setting each other off. They've all got their own triggers and they've all got their own things. And so I've learned how to be their regulatory system. And so I'm pretty steady in the way I show up and my emotions. I've learned over the years to process things in a certain way and be able to channel stuff because they regulate via me. And so sometimes they're flitting about because a couple of them have got ADHD and 3 of them have got autism. And I feel like sometimes I'm holding the strings and they're the kites. So they can flick flack about and they can do their thing and they can be creative and they can do all their loops, but I'm just holding them to make sure they don't fly away. And so within that level of safety, they can grow and experiment and make mistakes and, just unfold as they should. But I'm like the anchor where there's some non-negotiables within that. So kindness is a non-negotiable, courtesy, honesty, integrity. Those are the pillars. But within that framework, they can become whoever they need to be and they can make the mistakes. And, I think by being that steady, pretty neutral energy, I love that I'm the first person they call in an emergency, because even if they've messed up royally, there's nothing that they can bring to me that I'm going to flip my lid. I'm very steady and I go, that's not ideal. Let's sit down. I'm really glad you brought this to me. Let's talk about it. And I've told them there's nothing that you could go through that we can't find a solution through together. And now that I've got 2 adult children, one of which has just flown the nest, but can be on the phone to me for 3 hours each day, just while we're doing work, she's on the speakerphone and we're just doing work together, which is quite cute. But they can phone me and say, hey mum, I feel like I've messed up, or hey mum, I'm really lost here, or mum, I need a kick up the butt. Like I feel like I'm here, and there's no judgment and there's always love, but there are boundaries around that love. And sometimes, as they become adults, they've pushed the envelope a bit, and they've tested me, especially when they got partners. And I'm like, that's cool, but you go and do that over there. Because Dad and I have been together 30 years. We have had blood, sweat, tears, pain, challenge. We've had all of the things, and we've done our apprenticeship, right? We've qualified. We've earned the right to have our kingdom here and to say what goes in our kingdom. And this is how we like things. And if you want to do things your way, that's totally natural, and we totally respect that. Go and do that in your kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Build your kingdom. This is ours. And so even with that, showing them that it's my husband and I come first. We were here before you came into our lives. We'll be here when you leave and go and off and do your own thing. And so, if we don't have a good marriage, there's not a good foundation for the family. And so they've learned very well what those boundaries are. And what's beautiful is to see them assert those boundaries in their romantic relationships.
Oh, wow.
Because we've modeled it. And that's a very powerful thing to witness.
That is, because some people don't have that, opportunity to see that love. And so they don't grow up understanding it. And they have to go through, like you said in the beginning, go through the work for trauma to understand how to.
And this is one of the biggest passions about me building the Backyard Peace Project is we've got relationship experts in there. We've got parenting experts in there, because we can't keep pointing the finger to other people saying, you must do better. Well, what does that look like? And where's the support?
Yeah. I see everything that you do has been brought into building, the peaceful project, backyard project. And I just see it. And it's made you the coach you are for high achievers. Totally.
Well, and also to be able to speak from experience. We've been through very dark chapters with ourselves, with our marriage, with our children, right? We're not just great big shiny objects. We've felt the pain. We've been in the trenches. We understand what that fear feels like. And for me, if I'm going to go to Greece, I want to speak to someone who's been to Greece, who's felt the cobbles under their bare feet, who's smelled the spices in the air, who felt the sun on their skin, who's met the people, not someone who read the guidebook.
And you know what? Thank you for saying that, because people don't realize that you have to go through drama to get to where you are. But you have to not be the shiny person all the time. There has to be trials and tribulations. Am I correct?
Well, for me, and this always makes me giggle a little bit, which is kind of counterintuitive, but we talk about the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. But the magic happens in the chrysalis. And the chrysalis can be dark and messy and scary. And you basically have to dissolve everything that you were to become what you're supposed to become. And here's the thing, that goes in cycle. You don't go through the chrysalis once. And I had this amazing conversation. I'm very, very lucky with my network that I am connected with the most incredible thought leaders of today. And I was chatting to one of my friends who's a thought leader. And I sort of showed up on this call. We spoke quite regularly. And I said, I feel like I'm evolved. I feel like I'm like totally tapped into divine. I feel at peace in my heart. I feel like I'm being totally guided. I just feel so at one with the powers of the universe. And I'm just so great. I feel so grateful. And I'm in such bliss right now. Like 3 weeks later, oh my God, I'm in so much pain. Like I don't know why I'm so lost right now. And we were like laughing, going, this is whack. Do you know what I mean? It's like 1 minute you just feel, I've made it. And the next be like, what is going on? But it's a cycle, right? And as soon as you can lean into that cycle and dance with it and go, this is just a chapter. It's okay. Something great is going to come on the other side of this chrysalis phase. Then you can kind of lean in and be okay with it. But we were just laughing, going like 1 minute you feel like I'm like really like I need like a gold star. Like I feel like I've really done the work. Yeah.
I'm on top of the world.
I've done the work, I'm here. And then the next thing you're like, oh my God, I'm so lost. I feel so scared. I feel like an imposter. But if we can't share that openly, then we don't give other people permission to do the same. And if we don't give people permission, then all of the pieces that they're hiding about themselves are keeping them from their greatness.
You know what? That is so true, because we could be up here, okay, on top of the world. And then all of a sudden we text one another, or we just go through something. And I've done it before. I quit. I give up.
I choose the other pill. Where's the blue pill? I chose the wrong one. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, it's like when you're halfway laboring a baby, and if anyone's been through childbirth, you're like, I've changed my mind. Like, this is not the jam, and you're like, but you kind of just have to keep going. But of course, all the times that you feel like giving up and you think, should I have taken the other pill? You think, no, because look what's come out of it. Look how much I've grown. Look at the magic that's rippling through my life right now. But you have to take it all as experience. We label it as, this is a good experience. I want this. I want to give this attention. This is a bad experience. I don't want this. I'm going to ignore it. But if we just take the labels good and bad and just go, this is experience to help me to grow, how powerful that perspective is.
All right, let's talk about growth. What advice do you have for women who are trying to grow their business, however, might be struggling a little bit? We just touched on a little bit, but if you could give some advice.
Truly, and this is going to sound really lame, but truly, when you step into your passion and your heart and your love, magic happens. When you're able to connect with other people, magic happens. And this is a key one for women that I really, really want to amplify here. Receiving help. That's been a big one
that
for
they
me.
all struggle with. They all struggle with getting help. Thank you for bringing that up.
But because of our situation, we're immigrants. We have 5 neurodiverse children. We've never had any family support in our geography. We've always been very, very self-reliant because we had to be. We had to come together. That's why we're such a close family, because we're very strong, independent people, and we're a very, very strong unit. But with that comes this habit that you get into of being self-reliant, being independent. But then you have to question, am I being self-reliant and independent, or am I in survival? So that's a really interesting, complex thread for you to unfold, and everybody goes through something differently. But the magic really started kicking off in my business when I started actually receiving the help, not even having to ask for it. But people are going, I love you. I love what you're doing. How can I step in and support you? And instead of going, oh, it's okay, I'm fine, thank you so much. Well, actually, this is the whole thing that I do. If there's anything that feels aligned to you that you want to step into, that would be amazing. But it's okay either way. I love you either way. And I've had so much support and so much help. And that's when the magic really started happening. We have to actually be able to receive the help. We can't be doing this on their own. We're not supposed to be doing this on our own. When like-minded, particularly women, come together, that's powerful. Really powerful, because women are so resilient. They've had to go through so much. They will tell you their story thinking it's nothing, and it blows your mind what they've navigated through, right? But it's just their normal, so they don't think anything of it. But you get those people together, forget about it. Like, it's amazing. The vibration, the power, and we should not be doing this on our own. And we really need to be stepping into benefiting from each other's strengths rather than being intimidated or threatened by them.
Yeah, building that tribe around you, that's a powerhouse, would just make explosions everywhere for you.
Totally.
I love that one. All right. Knowing what you know now, what advice would you go back and give your 18-year-old self?
It's difficult because every piece of my puzzle has been strategically given to me. So although I have had a lot of pain in my life, mental and emotional pain, I kind of needed to go through that to get to where I am now, to have the depth of understanding and empathy and compassion for the people that I help. I feel like trusting myself more. Although I've been pretty good at trusting myself over the years and doing things that never made sense on paper, but it's always worked out because I did trust myself. But the people pleasing element, I think, is the big one for me, because I am so loving and I am very heart-centered, and not everybody loves me. Shocking, I know, scandalous. And that's been hard for me to navigate through, because I would love to just be friends with everybody and just love everybody and all of the things. But at the same time, I cannot become less than I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I'm not everybody's jam, so I totally understand. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the fact, because as a female entrepreneur, you have to understand that as well.
Totally, because someone's always going to have a less than positive reaction to what you're doing. So therefore, you may as well step into the fullest version of you that you can possibly be. So at least you're being true to your soul's path and your soul's journey. And you can look at yourself in the mirror every day and going, well, I'm in integrity. I'm being truthful. I'm walking the talk. I am today, I am the fullest version that I could have possibly been. Tomorrow, I might be more. I might stay under the duvet tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. But do you know what I mean? Just being true to yourself and understanding that the right people are going to be magnetized to you and the right people are going to be repelled from you. And understand that it's redirection, not rejection. Like God closes doors for a reason too.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
Definitely.
trust the whole process.
Let's go back a minute. You said things don't sometimes look great on paper. So do you mind answering this next one? What's one key strategy that you've used that maybe didn't look great on paper? It wasn't going to work on paper, but it did.
It's the whisper. So sometimes we get so bogged down and exhausted by the noise outside of us. And one of the key things that I do with my clients is get them to hear their own voice first. And so, for example, when we emigrated from England to Australia, I was called a village girl. You know, that I knew everybody in the village. I'd been in the village all my life. Someone would drive past me and beep. I wouldn't even look. I'd just wave because I knew everybody. And then I emigrated with my husband and 3 young children to Australia. We didn't know hardly anybody. I mean, we had some distant family here that we didn't really know. We came to the unknown. It was really terrifying. Like I would wake up every day with fists. I was so stressed and I would have to carefully let my hands go because it was so painful. And I had to hang them out of bed to let the blood go back to my hands. And it was really sore every single morning. And then I get my hands working and then I get up and see to my young children. And I had a huge amount of fear about emigrating and leaving everyone, everything we knew. But I also had that whisper that said, this is the right thing for you.
Yeah.
So I felt the fear, huge fear, but the whisper was so powerful that I trusted the whisper and navigated through the fear to do the thing. And for me, the fear of getting to my last day on earth, reflecting back and going, I was too scared to even try, is bigger than the fear of doing the thing that's scary.
Wow. So just listen to that whisper. I love that because there's so many whispers we get that we push aside or we hold off on because people say it's not the right time for us. But we know it is. It's
But nobody else is supposed to understand your journey. Only you're supposed to understand your journey. And like with my kids, they come to me, and one of the greatest gifts I've given to my children is from a very early age to listen to the whisper. And I
yes.
said to them, because they come say, Mom, what do you think? Mom, what should I do? And I'm like, I don't know what you should do. This is your life. What does your gut say? What does your guidance say? Because I can't make the decisions for them. It's not my guidance. And
And
so what I got them to do is trust themselves. And that has carried them very well.
that is amazing to be able to learn that at such a young age, and gifting your children with that is to listen to the whisper. Okay, so we
Mm.
know you have whispers that are getting ready to happen. So can you tell us about any future plans that you have that we need to keep an eye out
Well,
for? There's so
I
many. I
mean,
can just see it.
yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. We've got massive plans. Like we want to start a movement within the Backyard Peace Project called Good Men Rising. We've got a lot of voices out there at the moment calling out misogynistic, terrible behavior, which is great in one way, like it needs to stop. But that's becoming the narrative that this is what's happening. And so I feel like we need the dance is to go, but here's good men in the world and here's what good men are doing. Because I've got 3 sons. I want them to see good male role models in the media. I want them to see that's how I want to be. I want to be in integrity. That's what true strength looks like. That's what real masculinity looks like. But by highlighting all of the men that are doing it wrong, I understand, and they need to be held. And I'm disgusted by the whole thing. But we also need role models, and we need to amplify those role models so that young men can see what it is to aspire to. So I'm very passionate about that. We're also opening up a youth chapter as well, because we really feel like young people today, they need that sense of belonging. Social media is something I never had to navigate as a kid. I've seen my children have to navigate through cyberbullying and all sorts of things like that. And so we really want to create a safe space for kids to come and learn, and have conversations that we're not really having in schools. All about finance, consent, relationships. What does that look like? What is a healthy relationship with myself? Who am I? And it's often not what people are projecting onto me. I need to find my own voice. So we're very, very excited about that. So we've got huge plans, and we want to do yearly events so that people can come and be in the same room, because world peace starts with inner peace.
Mm-hmm.
It starts in our own backyards. It starts with how we talk about ourselves first. We need to cultivate that relationship with ourselves, and then it ripples to our family, and then it ripples to our community. And then when we've got people doing the right thing and holding that standard, holding that vision. I mean, one of my boys, he's huge now, but there was a time when he was about 9. He's 15 and 6'2" now. He's the biggest of the family. Like, whoa, he's like a big gentle giant. But there was a time when he was about 9 years old, and a boy in the class was punching a girl. And he stepped in and took the blows.
Oh, wow.
And this is the kind of natural imprint that we want to have in our young people, is to show up, to be courageous, to do the right thing, to say when they feel something isn't right, to trust themselves deeply. And, I just posted something yesterday about my daughter who went through a really tricky time with frenemies, which is just like, such a difficult time to navigate through. And lots of cyberbullying and lots of upset. And we had a conversation where I said, darling, you're going to have to choose your hard. You can either keep showing up every day pretending to be somebody that you're not so that you can try and fit in with this group of girls, which is totally fine if that's your choice. Or you have to choose, it's too high a price to pay on my soul. I can't keep pretending to be somebody I'm not. It's really having an effect on my emotional and mental well-being. But I have to therefore be prepared to be alone.
Yeah, you do.
And so I said, I will support you whichever way that you go. It's totally up to you, and it's your decision. And I don't know what you go through daily. And so, but those are the two pathways I see for you. And she'd said that she kept having this dream where she'd have these wings that were tightly clipped behind her back, and she went to school in a straitjacket, and then she would come home and I would take the straitjacket off her and I would take her to the oval and I would unclip her wings and I would let her fly. That was her recurring dream. And I said, well, all of the data that your feedback is giving you, I said, use that to make your decision. And she made the decision to be on her own. Which was a very bold, brave decision. And so she'd go into school with a notepad and a sketch pad, and she was allowed her phone to watch TV shows on whatever. And she was, okay, I'm going to accept the fact that this chapter I'm going to dance alone.
Yeah.
But what that did for her was, she's so fiercely herself now. Sometimes I'm a bit scared of her. I'm like, oh my God, you're really confident. You're really like intimidating right now. But because she knows herself and she's not afraid to put her boundaries down and all of those things. So it really comes with those, how is our relationship with ourselves? How is our relationship with our loved ones? And then how is our relationship with our community? And that self-reflective piece, stop looking outwards and pointing the finger at everybody else that you feel is doing things wrong, and just think, why is that triggering me? What is it within me that I need to look at? Because it really does start and end with us.
Yeah, it really does. So on a lighter side, what if you had a superpower for just 24 hours, one day, what would it be?
Ooh, superpower. I would infiltrate the minds of every world leader and heal their trauma so that they can stop inflicting it on the world.
Wow. Okay. That's big. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll be busy for that 24 hours.
All right. For what's a fun fact about you that not a lot of people know about?
When I was 18, I was engaged to my husband. I went to Africa to meet his family, and I got peed on by a lion. It wasn't as glamorous as it sounds. It was super gross. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Did they say
Yeah.
that was
And
lucky?
then everybody else knew what was going to happen. So everybody else stepped back, and I'm going, what's he doing? And so, yeah, not as glamorous as you would think, but definitely a true fact that I will take with me throughout my whole life.
Did anybody say it was lucky?
No. And it
No?
didn't feel lucky either. No, but it was an experience for sure.
Okay. I'm sorry that happened to you, but they should have yanked you. Okay. All right. A favorite book.
I love the badass books by Jen Sincero. I just love her humor. And after a big day, it's great to have her on audiobook because she is so funny and she's so relatable and she's just great. So she feels like you're having a conversation with your best friend. So I love her books.
Yeah, it is funny. I love her. All right. A favorite song or songs?
I really love Heroes by Peter Gabriel because it's like a power song for me because sometimes in our strength, it's really quiet and vulnerable. And that song to me speaks to the fact that, sometimes courage is really quiet and it's literally just showing up when you don't want to show up. And so for me, that song so beautifully encapsulates that. And there's another song, I think it's called To Build a Home. I can't remember the guy's name, and he's got an orchestra behind him. And that is a song I listen to because it's about building a home. It's a very beautiful song, and it reminds me of why I'm doing this, which is for my family, so that I can leave the world a little bit softer for them than I found it.
So sweet. Oh my God. It's so true, though. What you're building is just such a peaceful environment for everybody to encounter. It's amazing.
Thank you.
All right. Now, a favorite quote or quotes.
Well, when I first started investigating what my business would be, and I did do some trials and errors, which people would say, "Oh, you failed again." No, I haven't failed again. I've experienced something. So I think that we need to change the conversation around that. I was researching, but when I started my business, I'd actually just had a near-death experience having my fifth baby, and then having her, she was premature. I got a post-op infection. Then I got wicked flu. And so the first 6 months of her life, I'd never had a premature baby before. I barely came out with my life. She barely came out with her life. It was a very intense time for us. And my husband was 7 hours away. It was a really, really tricky time. And that really was the catalyst for me going, I have got all of this stuff to share with the world. I'm waiting with 5 children for this massive pocket of time to do it, which is hilarious because I'm never going to have that massive pocket of time. And there was a quote there that really gave me courage to keep showing up during that time. So I had a premature baby. I had 4 other children at home. The eldest was 13 at the time. Obviously, I'm an immigrant. My husband's 7 hours away. It was super, super hard. And I set up my workstation. So I would, if the planets were aligned and everybody was quiet, I'd jump into my workstation. I'd do 8 minutes, then someone would start crying. I'd go and see to that person. And then it would be quiet again. I'd jump in and do another 8 minutes. And those minutes became hours, became days, became weeks, became years, became, all of those things. And one of the things that kept me going, because at first you're like, who am I to be doing this? Who do I think I am? People like me don't do this. People from the village don't do this. People like, I shouldn't be seen or heard. Like, that's one of the biggest things from my childhood that I need to dissolve. Don't be seen or heard. It's not safe to be seen or heard. So all this stuff that kept coming up for me every time I tried to do something in my professional life, there was a quote by Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he said, "Do not die with the music still inside of you."
Mm.
And so I had that on my mirror. I've actually got goosebumps saying that. I put it on everywhere around my house so that when I had those moments of, I'd look at that quote, do not die with your music still inside of you. And it would give me that next 10 seconds of courage to keep going.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And I resonate with that 100%. That is one of my favorite quotes too. I love it. All right. How do you stay motivated?
Really being in service of others.
Mhm. Yeah.
In all honesty, when I see the pain in the world, I'm a big mama bear. Like I'm a hugger. Like if you're going to see me, I'm going to hug you. And I'm full of love and I can't bear. I mean, I feel choked saying it. I cannot bear to see people in pain.
Mm.
And if I don't use my influence, my network, my skill set to try and create a safe place and answer for some people, then why am I here? So whenever I sort of falter or I feel like hiding under the duvet for a week, I think about if I don't show up and create this, who's going to, number one, and who will I be letting down, number two?
So I used to say that when we used to be in front of people, a 3-foot rule. If I didn't impact somebody's life that was 3 feet away from me, that God has put into my path, um, what am I not going to be giving them that he wants me to give them?
And here's the thing, and I think there's a miscommunication in the world right now, not with everybody, but with some.
Yeah.
If I'm going to give this, what am I going to get?
Yeah.
And that's not how it works. Like my intention, and I'm not a perfect person. It's like Nelson Mandela said, I'm not a saint, I'm a sinner who keeps trying. I myself am a work in progress for sure. But if my intention can be that everyone that comes into contact with me leaves feeling more helpful, more hopeful, more inspired, more powerful, more connected to themselves, that's amazing. And what I've learned is to give when you feel called to give, right? We can't give to everything. So when you feel deeply in yourself, I'm going to pay for that meal because I feel like I need to pay for that meal, but I don't feel obliged to pay for everybody's meal, right? It's only when I feel this overwhelming, woof, you need to pay for that person. I just do it and then move on. But the giving, when you start giving from a place of pure love and affection and genuine care and connection, you're not going to get something back from that person. And you're not expecting to get something back from that person, hopefully. But I tell you what does happen, karma.
I say it comes
Because
back 100-fold somewhere.
100, yeah, totally. But that cannot be the intention behind the giving.
Mm-mm.
And, when you're giving to charity or you're giving, I feel very called to give to this charity. Somebody else might ask me from another charity. I'm going, thank you so much for asking. That's not my thing. I'm giving to this one, but I wish you all the best. But we can't do everything. But being true to our own voice, but giving from that pure place of I genuinely want to make a difference. I never have a sales call. And as soon as somebody comes on, I'm automatically coaching them. They may never work with me, but you know what? They might get a shift and go, I spoke to a lady and she gave me a shift on one call. I think you should contact her. Or they won't. But do you know what I mean? Everything is happening because we put good into the world. When we put good into the world, good comes back to us. It's as simple as that.
Yep. So let's talk about good into the world because you know what? What is it best? Because you're giving unconditionally to so many people. You have so much. What is the best way for our audience to stay connected with you to get all the goodies that you have and that you give? You've given so much today. I know they've fallen in love with you.
Thank you. Well, my movement is called the Backyard Peace Project. And at the moment, we're giving 3 days access for free. So you can come in, you can have a nose around, you can see who's in there. We have monthly summits, we have weekly coaching sessions, we have something happening daily. We just want it to be this beautiful, safe place for someone to come and land and feel like they belong, that feel supported and nourished and cared for. And so you can hashtag the Backyard Peace Project, type it into the search engine, you'll find us. We're there, and we're waiting for you.
Oh, that is so sweet. I love how you ended that. We're waiting for you. So what else is there you want to share with our audience? Is there anything else?
Be curious about yourself. Be kinder to yourself. Understand that we're all works in progress. Even the multimillionaires that I've worked with, they're still works in progress, and they might be amazing in that direction, but there might be another part of their life that needs nurturing and support. So try not to compare yourself. Your experience is your experience, and you need to honor your journey. And as soon as we honor our journey and fill our buckets and become comfortable with who you are, because a couple of weeks ago, a couple of kids held my son down and held his arm down and wrote weirdo on his arm. And he got up and he looked at the weirdo on his arm and he went, "Hell's yeah, I'm a weirdo. That's my family's superpower. We're all weirdos." And I went, "Well done, darling." But because we've poured so much into him that he doesn't have to take the maliciousness as truth. He can go, "Yeah, we are weirdos," because we are, like, we're all very quirky in our family and we celebrate that. And, but if you are so connected to who you are, then the hateful things that people might say about you, you can genuinely go, "That's not true. I know that not to be true in my heart. Therefore, I don't need to respond. I don't need to react, because I understand that you are sharing this because of the pain that is within you. And so I will have compassion for that. I will wish you well and move on." So we don't need to take on everybody else's narrative. We need to find our own whisper.
Oh my God. Cathy, you are the bomb. Loved it. Love having you with us. When we talked about truth bombs coming out, you have totally done it. Thank you so much for being with us, Cathy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. I hope you found inspiration, actionable tips, and a sense of connection with our incredible community of driven women. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share the episode with fellow entrepreneurs who are ready to elevate their game. Remember, your success is just the beginning, and we're here to support you in every step of the way. Until next time, keep shining, keep thriving, and remember, you have the power to create the business and life of your dreams. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.